there, and welcome to the Three Gun Show. I'm your host, Dave Hartman, and this is episode 262, which is a match recon podcast of the 2019 Magpul Texas Three Gun Championship with special field correspondent Adam Maxwell. If you're not familiar with the match recon format, this is where we shoot a match, performing reconnaissance along the way, taking notes, and then give you all the tools that you need to shoot it next year, including things like match flavor, longest shot, slug targets, awkward positions, all kinds of different things so you know the lay of the land. Basically, we paint a picture of what the match is like so you can decide if you want to spend your hard-earned dollars on shooting it the next time it comes around. These podcasts are available first to the fine people that support the Three Gun Show on Patreon. So if you like this type of content, consider signing up as a supporter at threegunshow.com/Patreon. That's Patreon. Before we get into the show, I want to tell you a few things that are going on in the Three Gun Show world. The first, this podcast is brought to you by the good folks at JP Enterprises. Last week, when we caught up, I had just shot the Magpul Wyoming Governor's match presented by Vortex Optics. Since then, I spent a few days filming some videos in beautiful Ogden, Utah, which you'll get to see on the Three Gun Show YouTube channel shortly. I also shot the Vortex Extreme in Douglas, Wyoming, with my good friend Mike Griswold of Rocky Mountain Targets. If you're not familiar with the Vortex Extreme, it is a two-man precision match based on like hunting scenarios. So you hike 9 miles, 9-ish, with your rifle, your ammo, all the gear that you need for the match, water if you need it, food, snacks, raincoat, anything that you need for the entire match. And you shoot 10 stages with 4 targets each, and they range from 168 yards to 1,159 yards. So that's kind of the brief overview. I'm going to do a dedicated match recon on this one soon, but for now, I'll just tell you that the match was so much fun. Mike and I both shot our JP LRP-07s. His was in 308, mine was in 6.5 Creedmoor. There were a couple of other guys in the gas division that were also shooting JP LRP-07s too, which is kind of cool to see. You always like to see someone, driving the same car as you or shooting the same rifle as you in this case. I love shooting this gun. It was so much fun. A stout platform with everything running like it should makes for a really soft shooter. Has the tank brake on there too, which all that put together really helps you to call your own shots, which helped in trying to figure out wind on the clock. Not something I'm used to. So that was an interesting aspect of it. And because we had to do everything on the clock, I really appreciated the left side charging handle of the LRP. So you don't have to lift your face off the stock to charge the gun. Drop that magazine in. If you're already behind the gun, rack it, and you're ready to rock. I had the Vortex Razor 4.5 to 27 on the rifle with the new Horus H59 reticle, if you're curious about that. The combo made for a really great shooting gun. And Mike and I were humbled in the true sense of the word by this match, and I'm really looking forward to getting more time on this combo to be able to shoot it to its true potential. Probably some Texas club matches in my future, at least getting up to Triple C, Jeremy Moore's range, and shooting out to 2,000 yards with this thing. So that was a whole lot of fun. I love the freaking LRP-07. It is such a great rifle to shoot. Check out JP's LRP-07 and all of their three-gun worthy rifles at jprifles.com. Now, I'm heading back to Texas soon, and I'll be there for a few days before heading back out for the Jeff Kirkwold Memorial three-gun match. There are a couple spots left for the match, so if you want to come out and shoot off against a field of competitors while I call the action with co-broadcaster to be named later, run over to Practice Score and sign up. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I think this is my third year involved in the match. Last 2 years were such a kick in the pants. We're going to up it a notch this year. Jeff Kirkwold Memorial match. Sign up if you can make it. It's going to be a great time. And last thing here, Three Gun Show t-shirts, mugs, and baseball caps are now available at 3gunshowproshop.com. I'm actually recording this while wearing my 3-Gun Show hat and sipping from my 3-Gun Show mug. So wouldn't it make sense for you to listen to the show that way? Now you can. Just head over to 3gunshowproshop.com and get yourself something nice. You deserve it. That's all I've got for now. So enjoy this match recon of the 2019 Magpul Texas 3-Gun Championship with Adam Maxwell. Adam, welcome to the show.
Back again,
And we're here to talk about the Texas 3-Gun Championship, the Magpul Texas 3-Gun Championship 2019 edition. This is going to be a match recon episode, and we're doing things a little different this time. So this is kind of fun. So I was involved with the match, but I didn't shoot it.
Correct.
You did shoot it.
I did.
But you're driving right now.
Right.
And
hands-free.
yeah. So you're driving, and you've got the laptop in your lap, and you're typing in all the data for the recon.
Yep, got the truck on auto steer.
No, I'm going to be reading most of this stuff, most of the stats that the special field correspondent usually does. But but I think this is going to be a good time.
Yeah, man.
So do you want to tell people where we're coming from, where we're going?
All right, so we're coming from the 2019 Magpul Texas 3-Gun Championship. Just wrapped that in the waning afternoon,
Like 2.5 hours ago.
Yeah, and basically we're mid-trip on a multi-legged journey. Because I had it on my schedule to go down to Texas 3-Gun Championship. One of the other things we do in kind of customer engagement department of Vortex, there's another colleague of mine who does the PRS type stuff, and he was spread kind of thin this week, so we were trying to be in 3 places at one time. So he asked me if I wanted to go do a MIL-LE specific sniper match. And so I was like, yeah, I'm game for that.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's like I've never been, but I can throw out a vendor table with the best of them. So took that by the horns, and then in talking with the administrators of that event, turns out they really want vendors to shoot the match with the competitors, to mingle and engage with the competitors while they're shooting, more so than setting up a table, which is actually very smart, because setting up a table is kind of dry at a match.
Right. Well, and it's hard to get traffic to a table at a match.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, or at least to justify, on paper, to justify having a person there for what you're actually going to get.
Right.
So they're like, yeah, we'd love to have you shoot if you want to. And I was like, well, I like to shoot, but I've never done anything like this, So like I don't really know what to do, but yeah, I'll try. And they're like, okay, well, it's turns out it's actually a 2-person team event. Like you got to shoot it in pairs.
Oh, okay.
And so as soon as I needed to shoot it in pairs, and the rest of our team is committed elsewhere across this great land, my first call is never anyone else other than your host, Dave Hartman.
Oh my.
So I was like, hey, Dave, you want to go shoot a sniper match?
And then I was like, yes, I will.
So we're on our way to the North American Sniper Challenge.
Well, let's back up a little bit. So we thought that we would have to bail on it actually for a minute because of scheduling, because it turns out it was right on top of the Magpul Texas 3-Gun Championship.
Right.
Which I was working and you were shooting.
Yeah, and they're doing registration right now.
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. So we're like, hey, do we actually have to be there on Sunday night? They're like, no, we don't actually start shooting until Monday. Because this is a military and law enforcement targeted match, so those tend to happen during the week.
Yeah, because they're actually working.
All right. Air quotes.
It's not recreation.
Yeah, it's training. It's they're ready for the streets,
Right.
So it turns out we had just enough time to do the formalities of the awards ceremony.
Yep.
And then basically at that part where people get tired of clapping and we just start listening to the list of names.
Yeah, just waiting for your name.
Yeah, we were like, peace out, Girl Scout. We got to get to Tennessee by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yep, and so I bailed as quickly as possible. I was the MC kind of thing.
Yes.
Is that what you would say? For the award ceremony, and so as soon as I was able to pass that off to the list of names to Nikki Hayes, who graciously took it over from there, I jumped and piled in the truck and head on out. Said goodbye to my Colorado buddies and several other people, and went to my house, unpacked my suitcase, repacked it up with some fresh underpants and socks, and here we are.
Yep. I moved the stuff from the back of my pickup box to the front of my pickup box. So kind of like inverted the back of the pickup truck.
Yeah, so all the 3-gun stuff goes on the bottom and all the sniper stuff comes up to the top.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, but that's what we're on the way to do. So we're pulling an all-nighter.
And we don't have much information on this thing.
No, we don't know anything
but
really.
We're gonna table that one for the next podcast we do.
You'll have to tune in.
We got a couple of them here. So yeah, so you're going to enjoy this one. This is the Adventures of Dave and A. Max week here. But all right, so back to the Magpul Texas 3-Gun Championship. So this was gosh, I don't even know what day it is right now. Is this the 30th or 31st?
It is. I'm not sure. I do know that this was a match. This was a match that I basically was given a choice last year. I could either shoot this match or the SMD IPSC shotgun prep match series.
Right.
And so me being the shotgun guy, I wanted, there was a lot of vigor around the shotgun stuff last year.
Well, and you had just gotten your new open shotgun as well.
Yeah. So I had just come out of the open closet and with a Vepper, and so I was all about shooting shotguns.
Full open.
I was full open. And so I elected to do that instead of coming to this match last year. And combination of how that tripped my trigger and seeing all the videos and hearing all the stories and all the outcomes of this match, I felt like I chose poorly. So coming around again this year, I was like, I am definitely going to Texas 3-Gun Championship. I don't care what it costs that I have to give up. So I was really excited that after missing it last year, I was really excited to, and after doing another video event for Rated Red down at Reveille Peak last spring, so like I knew the venue, and so a combination of having some exposure to the venue and hearing all the hubbub from last year, I was really excited to come down and shoot this one. First experience at this match, so.
Yeah, and I really like the match format this year. Walking the stage is really cool, and I got to be involved with it from like a content creation standpoint, which was really cool. I did not get to shoot it for. I'm sorry, we're kind of taking a long time to lead in here, but
that's what we do.
A lot happened in the last few days. So I did not shoot the match because so I was supposed to be out there Wednesday and Thursday for the RO match. When I got there Wednesday, I was not feeling well. Like I was feeling like my head was cloudy and dizzy. It was kind of weird. Like I was describing it to Adam the other day, or no, to Nick Miller actually. Like I was hungover. Like I feel like I'm hungover, like after like a huge bender.
Yeah.
And so Nick Miller, when I was telling him this at lunch, says, well, you probably have cedar fever, which is basically like an allergic reaction to cedar trees or bushes in the Central Texas area. So he's like, yeah, go take Claritin, which Terrence Cepeda had told me that back in December when I moved to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was like a brief period of time. I didn't realize it was like the entire spring until summer.
Yeah.
So as soon as Nick told me that, I got in the truck, went to Walgreens, and took a Claritin, and then another one that night, and then another one in the morning. And, like, after just a few hours, I was feeling better. And, like, right now I feel great. Like, all the cloudiness is gone. But for, I think, like, the last 2 weeks, I've been feeling like shit and didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been very fortunate that I never really had any hardcore, pollen allergies.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just never really had to experience that. But I can say that since I started coming down to Texas the last few years, like depending on the time of year, I could as soon as you explained that to me, or as soon as you said Nick said that, I was like, oh well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
'cause I kind of get a little hint of it every time.
And I'm not
I
really
come down here in the spring.
a person that likes to take drugs like pharmaceuticals on a regular basis.
Me neither.
Like if I have to take something, I'll get off it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I don't like to maintain it.
I'm pretty sick before I start taking drugs.
Yeah, exactly. So I try to go homeopathic as much as I can. Prayers and seances and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get into the Magpul Texas Three-Gun Championship. I just looked up the dates. So this was the 29th, 30th, and 31st of March 2019 here, and it was at the Reveille Peak Ranch. That's just outside of Austin, Texas, in Burnet, Burnet. And time plus points. Rule set is Texas Three-Gun, and sign up, payment, and scoring was all on Practice Score. The schedule was was a AM PM, and this is a 3-day match, so it's AM PM AM. So you shoot 4, 4, and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Match fee, again, since I didn't shoot the match, I'm not sure. I think it was $330. Sounds about right. And there was 209 shooters. Open division winner on this one, Mark Zebart. I don't recall Mark shooting this match in the past.
Yeah, that's a little far east for him.
Yeah. Well, I've seen Mark farther east.
Yeah.
Like I've shot matches with him farther east, but I don't recall seeing him in Texas. So I was excited when I saw his name on the list.
I generally expect to see him further west.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw him at Subs for Hard as Hell.
Yeah, not to say that he can't shoot wherever he wants, but generally speaking, I think of
most people
stay
in
him
areas.
as a West Coast crowd.
Most people seem to stay in areas, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, next one, Jerry Mitchellek, shoots pretty much everywhere, right?
Yep.
He shot Texas Three-Gun quite a bit.
Favors the East though.
The match director, well, so Louisiana is where he's from, and it touches Texas.
Yeah.
So, match director Aaron Hayes is a family of his, so of course he's there.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Brian Nelson, very first time at Texas Three-Gun Championship.
First time shooting open too, I believe.
Yes. In TAC Ops, first place, Tim freaking Yackley
does it again.
Just annihilated the entire field.
Crushing souls.
So congratulations to him. He's also last year's winner. Second place, Daniel Jurasic. And third place, Jake Latola, his first time at Texas Three-Gun.
Yes, I think there's a few guys came down from Minnesota.
Yeah, I like when
like that I did.
I like when the MN Three-Gun group comes to places.
Mm-hmm.
They're always a fun.
Some of my favorite people.
Yeah. Limited division winner Riley Croft. Laying it down. Second place, Rick Birdsall, followed shortly there behind by Joe Easter. Fun fact, Joe Easter, right? So he's shooting his Kel-Tec bullpup. He's getting ready for Rifle World Shoot, True Irons.
With a Kel-Tec bullpup?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I mean, it figures, but I did not know
someone told me about that, and I'm like, well, I got to go see this. And so I tracked him down on stages and went and shot some video with Joe. But True Irons, and still third place. Like,
hats
what a
off
boss.
to that guy.
What a boss.
He came up to me after the match, and I felt kind of bad because we were in a hurry to leave,
mm-hmm.
and we were getting to talking. But man, I didn't know he was shooting True Irons with a bullpup. That's some brass right there.
Yep. Baller status. All right, so
mad respect.
Yeah, very much so. Well done, Joe. Also, Joe got to experience the new limited rules, and Joe's been pretty vocal about like, Dave, leave limited alone, don't change it. So we got to talk about that a little bit, and he actually enjoyed it, and he said he wouldn't mind it if it was just the same everywhere.
Right? Kind of like heavy. It's like everyone needs to kind of arrive at some sort of consensus on that.
No, man. That's the third rail, man. You can't touch heavy. I can't even talk about it. But I guess now that we brought it up, we should talk about
probably say who won it.
The new rules. So for limited division new rules, they limited the rifle to 32 round magazine, which is basically a Daniel Defense magazine, or any of your 30 round PMag and GI mags, etc. No base pads, no drums, etc., etc. And
essentially, they're one step short of having a mag gauge.
They should have a mag gauge. That would have made it easier. With pistol, it's still USPSA limited division pistol rules, no capacity limits because it would be hard to check. And then shotgun is 8+1 at all times. So start off with 8+1. Magazine can't fit any more than 8 rounds in it. Which now limited is different than TAC Ops, which I think is kind of cool.
I do think that is kind of cool. I don't, as someone who identifies as a limited shooter, I don't like that because a full capacity pistol in a restricted capacity shotgun division, that makes it a pistol game.
So it
takes a lot of the power out of the shotgun.
We should table this conversation for another podcast since we have like a 19-hour trip before us.
Yes, sir.
And we should talk about that specifically. But I completely disagree, and I'll tell you the reason here, and then we can move on to the next divisions. But the reason they didn't limit the capacity on the pistol is there's no practical way of gauging how many rounds you have in there, you know? It's all in the honor system.
Yeah, that will be an interesting discussion for later.
Yes. I would love to talk about that, so let's do it. Okay.
Write that down.
Write that down. Oh, actually, I should write that down. Okay, so then 2x4, new division at Texas 3-Gun Championship.
2x4 Abre, sponsored by JP Rifles.
2x4 Abre?
Open, Spanish.
Oh.
I just dropped some multilingual on
you. And you did it wrong, too. So, anyway.
Oh!
Good Lord. Maybe the drive cast is not something that we should do.
I don't know. We'll let the patrons decide.
So 2x4, open division. Josh Freilich, number 1.
Crushing souls by 17%.
Land win, number 2. Shooting the little AK 9mm.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
That is a pretty sporty little blaster.
And then Courtney Mabu, 3rd place. It's interesting that they threw 2x4 in this match. And, you know, I don't see new people shooting 2x4 or 2-gun divisions because this is something like, you know, they borrowed from UML rules. I just see dudes division hunting.
I think it's interesting. I think this is the best that 2x4 has ever been executed.
Because they actually had to use their shotguns.
Because when it first came out, there was a hard emphasis on the 2. And really, I think there needs to be a harder emphasis on the 4. It's like it's a 4-gun division.
Yeah.
Whereas
there has to be instances where you use all 4 of your guns.
Yeah. So, I mean, before it was a PCC division that you had to shoot 3 targets with one of the other guns. And I think there's lots of cool things you can do or lots of cool options if all the guns are in place. So if there isn't, by that I mean if there isn't special targetry accommodating restrictions or limitations of certain platforms, like I've been a vocal opponent of the whole 2x4 guys can elect to shoot clays or the knockover steel. Like they have the option. It's
that
like,
is ridiculous.
It's like you have a shotgun in your bag. You have to shoot. It's a clay target. You have to shoot it with a clay. You know, that just, you know, it was like back in the 3GN days when you had all the options. Like all you have to do is put one clay out on that array, and now you completely change the dynamic of the stage. And so, like, I think the challenge or the strategy of having 4 guns and needing to use 4 guns is very interesting, where I find it very uninteresting when you can mow through a whole match and not touch a gun. Like, I think it,
like it basically eliminates the pistol and the shotgun.
Yeah.
And then the only reason you would use your rifle is targets past 60 yards.
Right. I mean, I'm a freak addicted to shooting. Like, the only thing better than 3 guns, 4 guns. So, like, if you can make 4 gun legit, which 2x4 could do properly executed, I think it's interesting. And I think this is the first time where 2x4 has had to draw out some of the other guns for a solid performance. So I thought it was probably the best that 2x4 has been done to date.
Yeah.
At a major match.
I thought it was pretty well done. So next up, heavy optics division. First place, Justin Morris. Second place, Bob Sanchez. And third place, Jomar Villamore. So Justin Morris, I believe he was second in TAC Ops last year. Yeah. Strong shooter.
Interesting.
Strong Texas shooter. Does not need sponsors, so he doesn't make a big deal about how well he does, right?
Yeah. And then
which
did
I think
well
is cool.
Some traditional heavy shooters.
Privateers. Too. Yep. And Lady TAC Optics, which is an interesting division. Basically, TO rules, only available to the ladies, although it doesn't actually say that in their rules, which I think is kind of funny.
It's heavily implied.
Considering our current political climate. But Dakota Overland, first place there. Becky Ackley, second place. Sky Killian, third place. And that rounds out our division. So other shooting opportunities. There was an STI demo booth.
Yes.
Which I went to, and I didn't get a shoot.
What?
Did you get a shoot over there?
I didn't bother. The only day that I had time was Friday, and I thought that I shot on the morning squad, and I elected to go back to the hotel room and do some work. So I did not get a chance to do the STI demo.
Gotcha.
There was a stage gun though.
Oh yeah, tell them about stage gun because I didn't get to shoot that.
Yeah,
so.
they had a stage gun. You basically did a Mozambique drill.
So it was an STI Staccato C, the carry pistol.
Yep. Yeah, loaded with 3 rounds, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. Before you started, on a paper metric target, and it was before your run. They gave you a beep, but they didn't record your time. Like I thought it would. For me, once I figured out they weren't keeping score, I was like, I kind of was disappointed. But
well, you know, it's
because I had a good run.
It was a social media contest. You're supposed to post the video. This was in the match literature. You're supposed to post the video of your run with a hashtag that they used, and then they're going to this following week here pick a winner to win that Staccato C.
Oh. Still feels kind of an oversight to time it and then not record the times.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
No,
it was fun. It was a fun gun to shoot. I'm glad they did it, and I appreciate STI's support.
Yeah, I tell you what, when I went to STI with James and Jay, or a couple of their shooters, we shot that Staccato C, and I was not interested because I'm pretty much only interested in competition guns at this point in my life. Like, I've got my carry squared away, and I never change it, right? It's just, that's what I got. However, when I shot that Staccato C, I was like, holy crap, this thing kicks butt. So, yeah, I was pretty impressed with the Staccato C. So, yeah, it was kind of cool. Everyone else got to shoot it as well.
Yeah, it's a really good intermediate size handgun.
Yeah. I can't get behind a single stack of like 8 rounds for a carry gun, you know?
Yeah.
Like at that point, like the SIG 365 has like 10 rounds. It's like, I don't know, a sixth of the cost.
True.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm a 1911 guy though, so.
That's true. Well, my first pistol is 1911. They shoot great.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of them. I carry them often. I mean, it says I want to be formal, but I'm still going to shoot you in the face.
Only under legal circumstances of your life, family, or property.
Yeah, when I'm a non-consenting participant to a life-threatening situation.
There you go. Good one. All right. Okay, so, Adam, this is where you come in, buddy. What is the match flavor?
Match flavor, it's natural terrain, and it is uniquely Texas. I mean, because Texas has the hill country of Texas has really good terrain to offer, and they have a really good facility to do that on.
Yeah.
Here at Reveille Peak Ranch, I mean, the couple times I've been here, it's quickly becoming probably one of my favorite facilities to visit, just because they have so much to work with and they're so open to a lot of that stuff. So I didn't shoot the match last year. From what I understand, last year was heavily a bay match, whereas this year they used some bays for sure, but they also expanded out onto the countryside of the ranch. So there was some gully runs, there were some open canyon type stuff.
Yeah, basically this is a ranch that is split by a road, and so it comes to like a west side and east side of the ranch. And this year they used both the west side and the east side of the ranch, where last year they just used the west side, which is where the bays are.
Yeah. So like I said, I'd been back in there before for a different, I guess I'll call it a photo shoot. To call it a competition is kind of light, but we were back in there, so it was cool to see him use some of those parts of the ranch where, I mean, there's places where we were shooting down in bays, but you could do they put the long range targets up on the hill, and then of course it's Texas, so you got the wind blowing, the good old valley crosswind going on, so you can't really tell what it is down where you're at, but it's definitely blowing.
Still got to shoot off the cannon.
Yep. The jungle gully runs are always good. Good mix of those. Good mix of speed and precision. Not a whole lot of, round count wise, not a whole lot of rifle shooting at this match. Like, the match was decided with a rifle.
Yeah.
Because there's some pretty tricky long range stuff.
You know what I liked? So again, I didn't get to shoot this one, but not a lot of paper shot with rifle for the sake of heating up your barrel. Like the hardy har har, we made you shoot 30 paper, and now you have to engage 300-yard targets with a hot barrel.
Yeah, I mean,
we all know that can be done.
I do like fast-paced carbine action.
Yeah.
And if anything, that was maybe something that you didn't get a whole lot of at this match, but I do sometimes it does just kind of seem lazy and lame.
Yeah.
Because they're just. It's like, why did we have to burn 30 rounds of rifle to do this? But Texas is traditionally a rifleman's area or a rifleman's region because they have the vast spaces to do the long range. And I would say that there was 3 stages that really emphasized that, and they probably decided the match because you either did pretty good there or it just went horribly wrong.
Well, this time around, the wind was, I don't want to say brutal, but it was constant and ever-changing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say brutal either.
And
it was definitely there, though.
I think the consequences of the wind were brutal.
Yeah, because, I mean, especially on stage 1 and 2, where we were really doing the canyon shots, those targets also had backer cards, which limited shooters really love. I would definitely shoot this match in limited. That would have been a lot of fun. But the downside to the backer card, you can absolutely see where the target is, but the curse of the backer card is you can't see where your miss landed unless you really missed.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, we started out, and the advice I got from a Texan was to hold. We had a left to right wind, so he said hold left edge of the target and go from there. He's like,
just keep working out.
Yeah, he's like, when you have to pick somewhere to start, that's where you start. And so that's what I did, and I just kept holding off further and further and further, and I kind of felt it was kind of reminiscent of my limited days, where it's just like I'm just feeling for a hit call, like I'm just sending it and like, all right, how about this? All right, how about this? How about this? Can you hear me now? No, nothing. Oh, there's the flash. And so, but that all takes time, whereas the guy who got it in 2 or 3 shots, I'm 15 seconds behind that guy. So, the wind is a harsh mistress. But the other cool thing, I mean, they introduced a very unique prop they had this huge boulder that was about the size of a small pickup truck.
Yeah, kind of flatty looking boulder too.
Flatty looking boulder, but the surface was not flat. It was very pitted.
No, if you were far enough away, you would say it was flat.
Yeah,
but up close, it is not flat.
So
as with most things.
Definitely lots of hard choices to make as to where to position on that rock. And then if you're in open, it's like, well, is this a bipod rock or is this a bag rock?
It was definitely a bag rock.
It was, at the end of the day, it was definitely a bag rock. But you always have that choice, right? That's kind of the new turmoil that I'm learning in open division is like what bag and what bipod do you use and when.
Yeah. So knowing a little bit about the match from like setup and stuff like that, they had debated on putting sandbags on that rock to give people something to brace on that was not rock-like.
Oh, I'm so glad they did not.
And that would have completely changed that stage.
That would have made it totally lame. That would have made it the most vanilla long-range stage ever. It would have been like every other match you've ever been to.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think having that it's my thing's always that I learned from when I came up in 3-gun, a stage to challenge the prepared shooter.
Yeah.
And that did not make that stage hard, but the prepared shooter really had to look at it to win that, to conquer that challenge. You really had to choose carefully how you were going to interface with that rock, because that could make I wouldn't say it would make or break you, but it was definitely going to separate. You could definitely choose poorly.
Yes.
And have that stage go bad.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people choose poorly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if this was a visual medium, we would roll in a clip of Indiana Jones right here. The old Knights.
You have chosen
poorly.
Last Crusade, by the way, best of all the Indiana Jones movies. Okay,
We'll debate that later.
Skills utilized. That'll be the next podcast. Skills utilized.
Skills utilized. Well, like we said, definitely long range. That was
and choosing stable positions for that long range.
Yep, clear and present danger there. And then something that's been absent lately from the 3-gun scene, a bit of shotgun heavy.
Yeah. So I was talking to Dwayne Liptak from Magpul, and have I ever told you the Magpul story?
No.
It's probably too long for this podcast, so maybe we can get it.
Maybe write that one down, too.
Write that one down. Anyway, so talking to Dwayne Liptak from Magpul and Ting Sun from Magpul, and both of them said that there's just so much shotgun in this match that it was not as that they did not enjoy how much shotgun was in the match. They liked previous years when there was less shotgun and more options because they're not shotgunners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heavily, military influenced based on Magpul, et cetera.
Sure.
Which I totally understand.
Yeah.
But for me as a guy who likes shotgun, I thought it was awesome. And in conversations that I've had with the dudes at Hayes about last year, and I've had this conversation with Josh Freilich, I've had this conversation with Tarrant, Ruben, lots of other people that I respect opinions in the sport, and I asked the simple question: was 2018 shotgun light? And the answer from everyone I spoke to was yes, absolutely.
Oh, so much yes.
Yeah, I mean, for example, the Magpul Governor's match, a shot 26 rounds of shotgun, which was unfortunate in an entire match, because with the advent of 2x4 and 2-gun divisions, they want to encourage people to come in and play those games. So instead of having clays or something like that or shotgun targets, they make them options. And if they're going to make it enjoyable for people shooting 2-gun, they have to make them bigger than like a 3-inch hex, right? So they make them 8-inch rounds. And so now for everyone that becomes a pistol target, because it takes too long to load the stinking shotgun, so that makes everything really light. Where at this match, the Magpul Texas 3-gun championship, there were a lot of targets that specified you must shoot these with your shotgun.
I think they specified you're going to shoot with your shotgun, but I think I'm thinking of stage 2 in particular. You kind of had that open option.
So that was an option stage. there was 5 arrays, and they could be shot with pistol or shotgun.
Yeah.
And if you've gone to Texas 3-Gun Championship before, that stage looks familiar. They've had some version of that stage in every year. Yeah, it's like one of their signature things where they have just a shitload of targets on the outside of a wall cage.
It was one of my favorite stages.
It's a great stage.
For
It was
sure.
a great stage.
And I like having, like, I don't have a problem with people having the option to shoot their pistol, but don't tell me I can't shoot the shotgun. Like, that was one where I roll into that, and I was like, man, I cannot wait to crush this with some hull action. And it was just really fun. But it was also it was a viable choice to go either way.
Yep.
Because James Gill in open on our squad, he elected to shoot it all pistol.
Yep.
Where a lot of us were electing to shoot it all shotgun.
Who were open shooters?
On our squad?
No. A lot of you that elected to go shotgun were open shooters.
Yes. Yeah. So you had it. It was pretty cool. Like if you crushed it with a pistol, you could keep up for sure. But like if you were gonna start missing, that's where you were giving up ground. And I watched Gil do it with a pistol, and I was like, man, if execution was there, it was definitely a viable option. I didn't want to do it. Not that I couldn't, but I always look at shotgun as a sure thing. Whereas a pistol is far easier to miss.
Yeah, but the way that I look at that as well is, speaking of TAC ops, if I have to stuff a quad, because there's some other sort of targets, I can reload a magazine in half the time and have 23 extra tries,
right,
instead of 4 extra tries.
Right, and I think the way that as we watch some of the TAC ops shooters and limited shooters shoot it in our squad, there were some pretty viable options to shoot that, viable combination options to shoot that shotgun pistol as well. So you could, a good quad loader could probably crush a lot of that with their shotgun and not be giving up anything. And, you wouldn't be wrong for going the other way either.
Yeah, and then it's division dependent as well because with, like we said, with limited, you only have 9 rounds in your gun at any time.
Yep.
Or maximum 9 rounds of shotgun at any time.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to, make that decision. Like, was that, I don't know, like, do you want to go to bolt lock, and like, how fast can you manipulate the pistol? So,
yeah. So there was definitely, I say there was an adequate amount of shotgun, and then there was option shotgun that could definitely let those of us who like it shoot it more.
Yep.
Whereas in the past, or last year specifically, I feel it was rather repressed.
Yes. Yep.
So it was good to see it swing that way as well.
Yep. So let's talk about the terrain. Yeah, Texas Hill Country, baby.
Texas Hill Country. Stay on the beaten path, or it's going to be sharp and pokey.
Yeah, I found that out. Like doing photos and video all weekend. Like my legs are like torn up something fierce. But the other thing to watch out for at Reveille Peak is the Mars dust. We always talk about Parma having moon dust.
Yes.
Reveille Peak has Mars dust. It's red, nasty stuff that will get into your shotgun. Every little crevice. I could feel my camera when I was zooming in and out, grinding a little bit toward the end of the weekend. It's on the back of the tonneau cover of the truck here.
Although I think the way you guys talked about it last year, I think it was exponentially less.
Exponentially less this year than it was last year, yes.
Because like last year they had a lot of new, it sounded to me like they had a lot of new excavation in their bays.
Well, the other thing
I think there's a bit of settling there.
You're going to take 34 East here to Dallas. The other thing last year is that we had a really dry winter.
Oh.
And it was very hot at the match. 2 of the 3 days. So this year we had a really wet winter, and it was pretty cold. So it wasn't like it was evaporating off and getting out of the place. Plus we had, I think, Friday night and Saturday night. Thursday night and Friday night we had a tiny little bit of precipitation overnight, which quelled that dust quite a bit.
Yeah.
I just remembered that I let my friend Forrest borrow my shotgun mag tube swab, and he still has it. I am not getting that back. Forrest, I need you to send that back to me.
Forrest, we know what you did.
So like jungle running stuff, there were areas that you're basically running through grass and dirt, and there are areas where you're running with giant boulders that only like a little bit of them are uncovered by the dirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who knows how far down they go, like bedrock kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And almost like you're running uphill on those rocks like steps.
Mm-hmm.
Then 4 or 3 of the stages were in bays. So the big bays.
Mm-hmm.
I think that describes the terrain pretty well there.
Yeah, and I think they kind of mixed it. They used a lot of terrain features, so I don't think, even if it wasn't hot and sunny, but if it was, like, you wouldn't be just baking out in the sun.
Yeah, because a lot of them were in the trees, which is cool.
Yeah.
So you had like the green canopy above your head.
Yeah, so I think, the terrain was the terrain features they elected to use were very well placed.
Yeah.
I thought that was well done.
Yeah, they did a great job of choosing the terrain. Wow, that almost turned bad, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people
Decided
decided at the last minute he wasn't going to Fort Worth, he was going to Dallas, and we almost had a traffic jam. Maintain calm.
Break
Okay,
check.
so farthest shot, number of long range shots, so 600 yards, right?
Yeah. Yep.
600 freaking yards.
Yeah, dude.
Like that escalated quickly.
I know, right on the first day.
Yeah, good lord. So number of long range shots, well, like I think 15, no, 18? Is that right?
Yeah, 18-ish.
18 over 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Well, maybe a touch less than that if we're using over 200.
Over 200, so more than 10, less than 20, over 200. How about that?
Yes.
Okay. And then longest pistol shot, there was that one stage 8, I think.
Yeah. Was it like was it
It
a
looked
30-yard poke?
It looked farther than it was because it was across a creek.
Yeah.
And so most people, if you ask them, they'd be like, I don't know, 60 yards, but it was really only like 30 yards.
Yeah. I know I elected to take a 30-yard shot the way one of the stages laid
Yeah,
out.
we got to talk about that one as funny things that happened at the match, because I heard from so many people, they're like, did you hear what Amax did? Yeah, and then not really any long shotgun shots. What was the longest slug target?
Ooh.
I think 61 was the one that I heard a number on.
Something like that. I learned that my slug zero was off.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I missed it, but yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I'd put it at about 60.
Okay.
It wasn't ridiculously far, but it was adequately small.
All right, so check-in, scoring, logistics, etc., prize table?
Check-in went smooth. They had the guy set up at the table. They had a really good rally point at that pavilion.
Yeah, the big pavilion there, and then the stats area was like right inside stats / like command center.
Yeah, they had me sign the thing, and they gave me my shirt. They had my division right. They knew what time I was starting, and stage walkthrough went pretty good. Scoring was updated pretty regularly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was quite live, but we didn't have the long awkward pause for the scores to come out.
The first day it was kind of slow, and then I think the stats guy Ben, things were so calm that he decided, you know what, I'm just going to go out and sync the iPads.
Yeah.
And so periodically you would have updates on scoring, which was great.
Yeah.
And then, of course, each night it was updated with the whole day.
Yep. And, of course, it uploads much faster when there aren't very many edits. Moving on.
Anyway, so so that went pretty well. So prize table, they do like top guns. So like TAC Ops had, it's the biggest division. It's percentage of division. I don't know what that percentage is, but like for example, TAC Ops had like 10 that walked like the top table, and then Heavy Optics had like 2 that walked the top table, and then everyone else was somewhere in between. And then from there, after those distributions, it becomes percentage of finish in your division.
Yeah.
Which is like Rocky Mountain 3-gun style.
And I was surprised how that played out because, like, I was down in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, I'm going to be here for like an hour.
I tell you what,
waiting to walk, and I was like in one of the first groups to get called. So
Lady Tactical Optics often skews this one because the ladies frequently are duking it out and they're bunched together, and so it skews the other thing, which causes a bunch of whiny bitches to complain about that sort of thing, that the ladies have their own division. And I got to admire Texas 3-Gun for standing fast and continuing to do that, because I think, with 18 ladies in the division, it's a significant thing,
Yeah.
And I think it adds something to it to allow them to play in their own division.
Well, it's kind of like any other division. Like, why would you have a division? When we talk about, well, do we need a heavy division or is it limited or whatever? Like, if there's a significant group that wants to compete against each other, let's have a division.
Yeah.
There seems to be, especially at this match, there seems to be enough interest that they want to come out and compete against each other. So that to me says that's a viable division.
Yeah, well, and I like it because, like you said, they can compete against each other, plus the ones that want to compete with the Heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
They show up
Yep.
and they play in that division and they duke it out, which I like it. So
Yeah.
it's good stuff. Okay, so venue, we talked about Reveille Peak Ranch, several thousand acres. I'm not exactly sure how many thousand.
All of the acres.
Yeah. Texas Hill Country, pretty easy to access. It's so I live in Round Rock now. It's about an hour and 10 minutes away. Actually hold club matches there that I go to. So easiest airport to fly into would be like Austin. There's a bunch of VRBOs around. Marble Falls is pretty close, about 30 minutes away. That's where we stayed.
Yes.
Which was a good choice, by the way. Fist bump.
I do like Marble Falls.
Yep.
It's a good town to stay in.
I do too.
Lots of
cool little
homey
touristy
amenities.
town.
Yeah.
I like it.
The Chili's is on point, which is always a plus for me.
Adam's the only guy that'll travel 35 hours and go to a Chili's for dinner.
I'm not the only one,
Okay.
but I am that guy.
Blue Bonnet Cafe, overrated.
I don't have anything constructive to say about that.
I don't either, but I will say that so many people over the years have told me, oh, you got to go to the Blue Bonnet Cafe. You got to go to the Blue Bonnet Cafe. Every time Texas 3-Gun comes around, oh, you got to go to the Blue Bonnet Cafe. Finally went there. It was adequate. I feel like I could have done the same thing myself in a George Foreman grill at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone was like, oh, well, did you try the pie? I was like, well, I didn't really enjoy my meal, so I didn't want to further be disappointed by adding pie on top.
I put it in the same category as Whataburger.
I've never been to Whataburger, so
I was adamantly told that you go to Texas, you gotta have Whataburger because it's just the best thing ever, and I don't ever have to do that again.
I kind of want to go now just to see how bad it is.
It's it's not awesome.
Okay.
It's right up there with In-N-Out. Not
You
a
know,
fan of In-N-Out.
Here's my thing. There's so many small independent barbecue places in Texas that actually do really good barbecue.
Right.
Why would you go to a Whataburger?
I don't know. I'd go to a Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's is awesome.
I had
man.
my first sidetrack. I had my first Buc-ee's experience.
Yeah.
After all these years on the show, you talking about it, and it was everything you promised and more.
Yep. Just a big gas station. Everything a gas station has, but more of it.
I just wanted to stay there.
It's pretty cool.
It's like, I mean, I have to go, but
I'm going to decorate my entire house from the Buc-ee's.
Oh, do it.
All right, so pre-communication. Did you receive information about what to expect at the match or any other pertinent information?
Necessity of a sling was underplayed.
Did you give my sling back?
No.
I need that
All right.
eventually.
It's in the back.
Okay. So I need to hand out chits when I loan things.
Yeah, but I think I showed up without a sling. I actually had planned to bring one. I just in my doofusness, I forgot one.
In your haste.
Yeah, but I was not the only one who showed up without a sling. So we had kind of a musical sling.
I have a strong opinion on slings.
Around. I'm sure you do.
You want to hear it?
I do.
A sling with all the hardware attachment weighs 8 ounces, 9 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It takes up the size of a a rolled up pair of socks.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not bring that to every match?
Well, I could tell you why I didn't, but I would be making an excuse. Do the listeners want to hear my excuse?
Well, you forgot it, but why?
Well, I forgot, but yeah, I'm
But
I'm spread out
as a
moving right
rule,
now.
as a rule,
As a
there's
rule,
so many
would bring
people that are
it.
like, do I need a sling? Do we need a sling? Do we need a sling? Do we need a sling?
Let's bring it.
Just bring the effing sling.
Yep.
I held a running gun last year. Do you know how many people asked me if they needed a sling?
Oh no.
After the first like 5 or so, I started getting snarky, and I said,
That's all it took, huh?
yeah. I would reply with, you will be required to carry your pistol, your rifle, and all ammunition you need for the match. A sling may be helpful.
Yeah, it's a long way, people.
For 5K. 5K. Yeah, so I think it's ridiculous. Stop asking. Just bring a sling. Just put it in your bag. It's not that heavy. It's not that big. It's not like you're asking, like, do we need a shotgun? You know?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, it's easy. Staff. How was staff?
Staff was great. I think what really stuck out to me about the staff, that would be, I don't know about different, but it seemed like they were putting forth new energy and effort into making the right call, at least at the elevated levels, like at the match director level. I mean, they had very progressive
Or range master.
Yeah, they had very progressive strategies and policies about like reviewing video.
Yep.
And appeals and things like that. So I really, they made it very apparent that their interest was in making the right call, and they would take in whatever
Not
information.
being right.
Yeah, not being right, making the right call.
Right.
And
The other thing
I really appreciated that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. The other thing I like about their style is they have a motto that, like, error goes to the shooter. Not error. Question goes to the shooter. If there's a question, let's give the benefit of the doubt to the shooter.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, the American justice system is supposed to work that way, right? I mean, you need to be proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You know, whereas it seems like in so many things these days, it's the opposite.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, you know, especially when it comes down to things that are going to ruin your match or end your match. It's like, no, hearsay isn't enough. Like, it needs to be blatant.
Yes. Also, copy of the rules at every stage.
Yes. Yes, there was. And I watched it get referred to.
Good.
When I arbitrated something.
Good. All right, so fun factor.
Fun factor? Oh, man. I just liked it. It was a do I dare say good old-fashioned three-gun match?
Yes.
Like it's out in the
three-gun?
country. It's a, you know, it's like it's a terrain match, quote unquote. You're welcome, people. But like, you know, they put it out in a geographically interesting place. They put out some interesting shots. They were challenging enough to make the wheels come off without being mean or a pain in the ass. Like they just had to put it out there, and people messed with themselves.
That lady's like reading a novel on her phone as we passed.
But I mean, the fun fact, I mean, it's just wholesome three-gun from the word go. I really like this match. So I mean, I feel like I say must attend a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll say this because I realize that I'm fortunate enough to go to more matches than the average person is. So you know, I can say must attend, and like, yeah, of course it's must attend because you go to all of them.
Right.
I don't, but I go to a lot of them. My new kind of litmus test for some of this stuff is my girlfriend wants to shoot three-gun. She wants to shoot major three-gun matches. She doesn't have all the resources that we do being in the industry, so she has to be more choosy.
Right.
And so I would say that this is a match that I'm definitely putting on the list next year of ones that I would either recommend or suggest that she come to.
Nice.
So I think that's a new, I guess that's the highest compliment I can give a match is it's one that I want to bring my significant other to. So, you know, it's just a solid three-gun match, and I look forward to it growing into next year.
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear. Funny things that happen at the match.
Funny things that happened at the match. I think you got one in the hopper. I'm trying to think quickly.
What's the one I have in the hopper?
I don't know. You alluded to one.
It's you shooting like an array of 18 poppers at 30 yards with your open pistol.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, because it's interesting. No one could believe that you did it.
Well, I mean, I got the pistol to do it. You know, that Atlas Gunworks Airbus just ching, 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 ching. No. Yeah, they set up one. So if I were going to level of criticism, it was stage 3. Stage 3 was weak sauce. And they basically had a simple rifle array, a simple shotgun array, a simple pistol array. But they had the fault lines laid out for the pistol targets that you could basically run up to them and shoot them at, I don't know, 10 yards.
Right.
But like from a...
It's 5-second run.
Yeah, you're at a dump box 30 yards back. And it's like, you know, knowing me, like on my best day, I'm still not 1,000 feet per second. So the bullets still squarely run faster than I do. And, you know, being on kind of I wouldn't say I'm on the front, but I'm definitely in the revolution of the pistol-mounted red dot. And one thing that I've become...
Slide-mounted red dot.
Yes. But one thing I've firmly become a believer in is once you go that route, there are no hard pistol shots anymore. Because what makes a pistol shot hard at longer distance is sight alignment, really. Because you have a crude alignment tool. Well, if you can see a red dot, it's lined up. We can go into that later sometime. So there are no hard shots anymore with pistols. There's just bad trigger presses.
Right.
So I have the tool to shoot them from that far, and I know how fast I run and what it takes to run there, get set up in a new position, and be breathing heavy. I elected to just stand at 30 yards and take all 18 poppers with my pistol.
How did it turn out?
I mean, I think it turned out fairly well the first time and the second time. I think I missed a few more the second time. I got a reshoot on that particular one, but yeah, I mean, only a small handful of makeup shots, and I was comfortable enough with it that I did it twice. So on the other hand, I hear Jerry ran up there and shot him. So I don't know how fast he runs, but I think I run faster than him. So maybe maybe I made a poor choice. I'm not sure, but yeah, I stood at 30 yards and shot the mini poppers. And I would do it again.
One of the funny things that I heard at the match was Jeff Chafin. He told me this story about how, so he was shooting a 2x4 open, and I also got him to tell me this on video so I can cut together something funny.
Yes.
But he was shooting the all shotgun stage with his open shotgun, his dissonant box gun, and he shot the first array, and there was a 0 or hero array. So it was 4 poppers and 4 clays. And if you shot all 4 poppers and all 4 clays in the air, you were a hero. And if you didn't, you got a 0. You were 0, right? And then it was another like social media contest that they're running. So Jeff goes all 4 poppers, all 4 clays in the air, hits the hero, and instead of turning to the left and shooting 3 clays, like now he's admiring his work, and so he turns to the left, drops his mag, pops in a new one. And so he prematurely loaded and got rid of like half of his shotgun ammo that he needed, right?
Oh, no.
And then he goes running down the hill, and he has a full magazine sideways in his mag pouch directly on his 6 o'clock. So it bounces and bounces out. And you hear him say, F! And he starts sniping the targets instead of slaying them.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 right?
Yep.
Runs out, has to go to his other mag, and now he's got 4 slugs stacked on top of 8 birdshot. So he leaves several birdshot targets, pops in the mag with the 4 slugs, shoots that, Yeah, racks slug in, goes over the 4 slug targets, boom, 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 shouts, "I'm coming back!" Hits the bird shot targets that are after those slugs, runs back, and is able to hit one more bird, or maybe it was 2 more bird, and ended up with only 1 unhit steal on the whole stage. So after all that, he was able to salvage his stage and still finish with like a really respectable time. So I heard that one. That was a good one. I don't think I heard any other great ones.
I know stage 6 probably had one of the greatest RO walkthroughs of all time. They had the hand motions and the theatrics down. So, like, hats off to those guys. But they, showing you the 180 lines and whatnot. You had the guy who was, like, the big referee with the big head nod. Yep, okay. No, not okay. And then
that's like, stage 5.
Was it 5?
Yeah. That was Brian Decker.
Yeah. Hats off to that guy.
Giant red man.
Yes. That was well done.
Nice. Well, that's the end of it. So I got a couple of things to say. So, I was working with the Magpul Texas 3-gun championship for content-wise, and created some good pre-match video for them. I've got some post-match video.
Loved, by the way.
Thank you. If you haven't seen that, go check it out on the YouTube channel. I made a quick short link. It's just 3gunshow.com/TX3G2019, and that'll take you right to the playlist where I have all those little videos in there. Check it out. I worked really hard on it. I'm very proud of it, and
Mark Roth was right about me.
Mark Roth was right about AMAX, and so Mark was my co-host for that. Really enjoyed doing it. Would love to do it again, and if you're interested in having that at your match, we can probably make that happen. Just give me a call. But the dudes involved, like the executive match staff, pleasure to work with. Good friends. Worked, really enjoyed being able to bounce ideas off of them. They were totally receptive to my creativity and stuff that I wanted to do, and letting me be a part of it. So I really, even though this is the greatest match I never shot.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I really enjoyed it.
And, on that note, I mean, there's a lot of matches trying to bring, or, there is the necessity when you're taking sponsorship dollars to create value for the sponsors. Like, I think these guys really had some good ideas and some solid effort into following through on that.
Yeah.
And not all matches do, but, I mean, they really kind of harnessed some solid ideas and strategy to try and generate some good value and some good hype and some interest in for the sponsors. But then also, like, I mean, that video series that you were doing, that's generating some community interest too. Like, for people who weren't here, you kind of had an idea of what happened there. And
notoriety for the competitors that were involved.
Yeah, I mean, I learned things about divisions that I was in. Like, oh man, so that's going on in open, huh? Well,
that guy's shooting open.
Man, I better go, like, make sure I'm zeroed.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Is like, these matches always happen like in a pocket, and really the only the 200 people that were at the match know what was happening, other than what we read in the sports scores on Monday on Practice Score, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to create something bigger and more extensive than that.
Yeah.
And I think I hope we were able to do that, and
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm able to continue to do that with the content that I have planned for the rest of it. But when you look at the amount of money that goes on a prize table for only 200 people to see it, just blows my effing mind. And so to be able to create some content around it and give some love and enjoyment to those sponsors, so it's not just something that happens 3 days in a field somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's has an extended life. I thought that was really exciting.
Yeah. Well, and there are so many interesting, like, little battles going on.
Yeah.
Competitively, like, I'm interested in them. I just need somebody to put them in a format that's palatable for me. And so, like, I I was kind of stoked. Like at first, they were out for a few days before I actually watched them. But once I actually went and watched them, I was like, oh man, now I'm gonna binge watch all of these and figure out what's going on this weekend.
Well, I had to tell you about them. You're like, yeah, I think I saw those on Facebook.
That's my fault. I'm not paying attention as much as I used to. But no, they were very good, and I did go out and do my homework, Mark, but apparently not enough.
Not enough. Right. Yeah. Well, so thanks for that compliment. I'm glad you liked them, and I really hope the rest of the audience does too. Amax, thanks for doing the match recon with me here, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's definitely a good match. I was glad I went, and I will definitely be back for 2020.
Nice. Well, we're in Waxahachie now, so we gotta go find Sky and Patrick Talbot.
Yeah, we haven't even made one state line yet.
Nope, that's not gonna happen for several hours, buddy. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Three Gun Show match recon of the Magpul Texas Three Gun Championship. From the truck, from the Vortex truck.
Cruising into the sunset.
Actually, we're cruising away from the sunset. We're cruising into the sunrise. It just doesn't happen for several hours.
Nearly as theatrical, David.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Three Gun Show. If you like this type of content, you can support us on a monthly basis for as little as $5 by subscribing on Patreon at threegunshow.com/Patreon. That's Patreon. You can also give your business to the companies that support the Three Gun Show, including Vortex Optics, IWI, and JP Rifles. Until next week, I'm Dave Hartman, and I'll see you on the range.